Hi crafters, Karen here, and in today's video, it's all about another oh-so-inspired collaboration hop. Before getting into my project today, I want to remind you that there is a playlist link in the description box that you can use to check out the collaboration team's videos so you can see their take on this month's inspiration piece. Now with that said, I will go ahead and I will show you the inspiration piece here on screen, and this is by the artist Mindy, and all of her information is in the description box below, and I hope that you will go and check her out. What inspired me from Mindy's piece is I like the swatches, and I like that there are different colors or the same shade of color, but it goes from light to dark. I also like the flower embellishments on there, and that is, so I'm going to use the color swatches and the flowers as my inspiration today. Now the products that I'll be using today is I have this piece of white 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock. I'm using the Tailored Expressions inks. I'm using Macaron, Jelly Donut, and Dried Fig. And then I'm using the Abstract Botanicals stamp set from Call Me Crafty Al herself. And with this stamp set, you got 2 stencils, and you also get these negatives with the florals in them. And those are actually SVGs, and those were actually cut out from my Cricut. And I had a whole bunch cut out, and I just placed them in an envelope, and I just keep everything together in one envelope so that when I come to use this, I have everything together. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the stencil, and we're going to start with that opening, that oblong opening there that I just showed you, and I'm going to start lining this up on my cardstock. Now I am using my low-tack tape from scrapbook.com. I want to make sure that not only is the stencil held in place, but I'm also trying to cover some of the places where I don't want the ink to go on that cardstock. So I go ahead and I start ink blending, and I just move in circular motions, both clockwise and counterclockwise. Once I finish with one color, I just move on to the next. And again, I make sure that I use my tacky tape to hold, my low tack tape, excuse me, to hold everything down in place while I go ahead and ink blend. Now the ink, as I'm blending, it does look kind of blotchy, but as it dries, that really does start to dissipate. And you really won't see all that blotchiness once the ink has dried. Now I'm moving on to the third ink, which is my Dried Fig, and you can see here that I am using different shades of purple. And you know, again, that was the my idea, and that's how I was inspired with the ink blending and with from Mindy's her piece. So now I'm using my negatives, and I'm going to bring in the floral pieces, the stamps, and I'm going to stamp them on those individual pieces. Those negatives are what's holding those florals in place so that it makes it easier for me to stamp here. Now I do make a mistake, and I'm going to show you how I fix that mistake later on in the video. So I go ahead and I ink up all of the flowers, and I do each flower in one of those purple shades. And then if you look at the top left, that stamp did not stamp directly on that floral piece. So I go back and I see that I've missed a couple of spots, so I just go back and I press again to make sure that I get that full impression. And I do that with that top right and the bottom stamp, the floral piece. So once those are done, I take those out, and I'm going to show you what I do with this piece. Now that is kind of messed up, so I remove the negatives, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one negative and I'm going to put it back on my stamping platform, and I'm going to re-ink another piece of that flower. So I'm going to try to make sure that I align this stamp up correctly, and I get that in place, and then I re-stamp that with my ink. Now I did do better the second time around, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multi-layer. So I just didn't want one flower laid on each of those areas that I ink blended. I wanted a little bit of a pop. So I did glue them onto two of the pieces of each flower. So it's stacked as a total of 3 for each of those flowers. And you see me gluing those all together right now. And once the one that I made a mistake on, I just used that to glue over, and you don't even see it. So that's how I fixed that. Now I'm going to take my card base, and I'm going to adhere a white piece of cardstock inside because my card base is gray. And because it's colored, I do want to have a piece of the white cardstock inside for either a stamped sentiment or my written message. And now here I'm just going to glue my flowers onto each of those swatches and get those set in there before I stamp my sentiment. So that's all layered on there, and I bring back my stamping platform, and I'm using the Hello Friend sentiment from the same Abstract Botanicals stamp set. I'm going to layer that in between the 2 flowers there on the left, and make sure that it's centered. And then once I have that in place, I put my magnets in there. I'm bringing in my dried fig, the darkest of the purple shades, and I'm going to lightly press that on there because I don't want it to smudge. And here you have the final piece, and I hope it has inspired you to go ahead and give this month's inspiration piece a try. You can definitely play along, and you just want to use the hashtag #IwasOhSoInspired so that the rest of us can see what you created. And until my next video, friends, I hope your day is a crafty day. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all again real soon. Take care.